So this string walks into a bar, and it's hot outside, it's a hot Texas day. And the string's just really thirsty and he's looking forward to getting this cool drink, getting a nice shiner bock. So he sits down and he orders a drink. The bartender looks at him and says, "I'm gonna serve your kind in here, boy. Get out of here." This is a string to not be unstrung, right? He's not undone easily. So he goes outside and kind of settles himself, turns himself all around, and he comes back in the bar and he sits down. I says, "Ain't you the guy I just threw out of here?" "Nope, afraid not." It's one of the worst jokes in the world, but it's really funny to me because that's really all it takes most of the time to change somebody's perception of us, right? We can go from being a disheveled mess, and we could, just put on a hat and then we don't look quite so disheveled, right? And if we put on a different kind of hat, right, and we get a whole different kind of approach. And I don't know if this thing does better or worse. And so it gives a different look too, right? Right. Dun, da, da, da. So it's easy to change who we appear to be. But, we can take all the stuff out and the fluff out, and we can get all Einstein hair, and stop worrying about what people look like and start learning how to really listen. Because when you learn how to really listen, you're able to bring experiences of other people into your own soul and share a moment, especially if the person telling the story is a good storyteller, because you'd have to be a good storyteller to get past hair that looked like that for very long. And we judge not because we're necessarily being bad, but because that's what we do. It's part of the nature of who we've developed ourselves into being. People that judge others, that look at an exterior and say, not so much. That's why I got rid of the beard and the facial hair and the hair down to my waist. Not because I wanted to conform, but it was because I wanted to connect. Because I really did have a desire to connect with people so that I could share the fact that the real reason I used to have hair down to my waist and a big old burly beard and to be the mean looking guy that I was because I really didn't like who I was. And I didn't really like who I was because I never felt accepted anywhere, right? And the only people that ended up I felt like I fit in with and accepted were the people that most of society said were like evil. They were the bad seed. You don't want to hang out with those people. And really, that's what Christ did when He came back. He come and He hang out with. I was the worst English I have ever heard. That was awful. He came down and He hung out with people who were the worst. All right, so I appreciate you hanging out with me and listening to me because I'm one of the worst that the world has to offer when it comes to humans. But one of the things that I've realized, one of the most important things I've realized, and again, why I chose to straighten myself up a little bit and be a little more um, professional about everything, was because it really is important for me to connect with you. And really, what that process is raising your leadership lid. And we start with the philosophy that John Maxwell certification. He trains us on his philosophy, which is the 21 laws of leadership. And the first law of leadership is the law of the lid. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily the most important, but if you can get that law, if I as a coach can help you understand the importance of that law, well, then the other 20 laws you'll want to learn, because what that law says is you're only ever going to be effective as your ability to lead. And how people perceive you impacts your abilities to lead. And so if you can make a choice, if you can make a decision and it helps you impact people, it helps you connect with people, well, that's an important decision to make if connecting with people is an important part of who you want to be and the person that you're growing to become. So I shaved, cut my hair so that I could raise my leadership ability, my ability to influence a little bit more, because it's that ability that is the effectiveness barrier. Right? I can never be more effective than my ability to lead. My business will never, this is my business, it will never get any higher than my ability to influence and lead people, whether it be virtually through videos and blogs or in person. And so we've got to test our leadership ability. I miss my beard and my hair because it was a great spam filter. It made sure that only people who were interested in talking to me for me and finding value as a person and person to person would talk to me. Right? It was a great spam filter. Fake, false, hypocritical people would not speak to me when I looked the way I used to look, so it was great. But in order to lead, you have to be able to open yourself up and give more of yourself than you thought possible. And that also raises your lid and increases your ability to influence others. And from a business perspective, increases your ability to make money, right? And that's what business is about, is to make the money to provide the lifestyle that you want to create for yourself. And you have to start that by raising the lid on the ability to influence yourself first. I had become a better person. I was given 20 years to live when I didn't want to live, and that was a new thing. I'd never been told I had 20 years to live before, so it was a blessing. It was a good thing. And I started looking at, well, what's all the good that I could do for the next 20 years? And that's why I'm raising my leadership lid, and I'm learning from John Maxwell, and I'm inviting you to join me to learn as well. So I'd like for you to join me and become a part of the team that I'm building of virtual leaders that are going to go out into the world and make real and lasting changes so we can be free. Again, that's why you're here at the University of Freedom. My name is Justin Kurtz, and I want to thank you for sharing the story of how I began to raise my leadership lid.